Sure. We see about 1,000 plus opportunities every year. That's brought to us by our local offices. And of course, a lot of the work and analysis is done here in the London headquarters. But we analyze every opportunity from three perspectives. One is a technical perspective, one is a financial perspective, and one is a softer perspective. Now, technical analyzes geostatistical risk, grade variability, resource potential, mine plans, mine scheduling, CapEx, and then building the plant, and then looking at recoveries, for example. The financial team looks at structuring a deal, capital structure, looks at bringing in partners alongside offtake, for example, negotiates the deal, and then there's softer aspects too, which is driven by analyzing quality of management, analyzing permitting risk, social community risk, and all those softer dynamics that we filter in. There's no one more important of those three than the other, but our investment committee looks at each of those and then prices that risk. So what is the risk we take on, given all the inputs from the three different teams? And then we look at the reward potential for our investors. So are we getting paid enough to take on the quantity of risk that we've identified? That's how we kind of bring all three of those together. And the investment team then makes a decision on those risk-reward metrics to decide to move forward or not. Yeah, they're core to it, or they're really the deal captains. So they're driving the deals. They're working very closely together with the technical team. But they're looking at structuring the deal. They're also looking at modeling the deal. And they're looking at negotiating the deal at the same time. So they're one of the core pillars of the Appian investment process. Risk is the core of everything that we analyze. And so our job really is to price risk and factor that across the board. And our base case is driven by an 80% conviction level. So we will not make an investment until across all those metrics I described, we have a high conviction level that we understand that risk and we can price it. On the downside case, which I think a common mistake that people make is to sensitize all the risk metrics down simultaneously. They're interrelated sometimes they're not. We analyze and break out those risk metrics per piece, and then we look at what is the sensitivity for that metric until we lose money. And we have a debate around the probability of that event happening with the industry expert leading that particular piece of analysis. So risk is part of everything we do, and I think core to our investment thesis. Yeah, I think it's an important part of being an investor is understanding risk and pricing risk. And I think a lot of people in investments really look at trying to see how much money they can make. We focus on how much money we can lose first and foremost. I think I'd rather pass on a good deal than risk doing a bad one. And that's kind of a philosophy we have at Appian, where if you look at our returns, you look at the top private equity firm returns, the returns are not making 10 times, 20 times, and then losing all their money on the next three investments. So there's a high variability in returns. We actually have quite a stable return profile, despite being in an industry seen as quite risky. So it is possible to analyze risk and price that risk and deliver quite a stable return profile to investors through cycles. Because remember, you also have a commodity price overlay, and yet returns over the past 10 years have been relatively stable across certain metrics. And that comes through analyzing and pricing risk in everything that we do. Because I think if you can analyze risk and figure out how not to lose money, then all the other options are pretty good, right? So you can either at least return money to investors or you make money. So focus first and foremost on how not to lose money, and the other options will take care of themselves.